Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Tuesday, the 27th of January. Glad to see you. Hope you're surviving this deep freeze. It feels like most of North America is going through this. So I understand, like New Orleans got like 8 inches of snow or something. To be quite frank, I feel bad for places in the south that get snow. Part of me wants to giggle a little bit just to think about people trying to walk and drive and stuff. But then the serious part of me is aware that that's just dangerous. Places that don't have snow plows or salt to throw on the roads and stuff. I'm used to driving in weather like this. I haven't been for a couple of weeks because of my foot, and I'm nervous about getting back on the road. But that's different because I've been driving for over 30 years. But for people who aren't used to this kind of weather, God bless you. Be patient, be careful. Lately, I have been watching on my iPad because Rob's doing his homework on his computer in the same room as our television. I've been watching things on my iPad with my earbuds so that he doesn't hear the TV and get distracted. But one thing I've been watching is on CBC Gem, which is a television app that you can get on your devices that has the programming that CBC airs. There was a program, they did a season called The Assembly, and they had about 30 or 40 neurodivergent autistic um, young people come in, and they interviewed um, people, famous Canadians, like they interviewed Howie Mandel, Jan Arden. I think they did, I haven't watched it yet, but Angie Dickinson, Alan Hocko from the Republic of Doyle and now St. Pierre, um, Russell Peters, I haven't watched that one either, and another young woman who is an actress from Toronto, and I believe she's of East Indian descent, and I'd never heard of her before, but she was incredible. And the rules are, there aren't any. Any question is on the table. Every question needs to be answered, and there's no holds barred. They can ask whatever they like. And it has been absolutely phenomenal to watch these young people asking these very famous Canadians who are very, very um, well spoken, well known, asking them questions about their lives, their work, personal things, and it's incredible how beautiful these conversations are. It's like a half hour program, so without commercials, probably about 22 or 23 minutes. It is totally worth your while to go to CBC Gem to look it up and watch these interviews. The the incredible part to me is the fact that these young people of various neurodivergent abilities um, are all, first of all, are taken completely seriously by each of the people being interviewed. As a matter of fact, the people being interviewed quite often look stunned and nervous about what might happen. And if you've ever spoken to groups of people who are neurodivergent or autistic, you know that there often is, there's no holds barred. There's often that filter, that social niceties say, well, you can't ask that. You don't ask a woman her age or her weight. You don't ask somebody how much money they make and things like that. I've had people who are on the spectrum, people who are autistic and neurodivergent in my life, my whole life. Family members, um, cousins, aunt, cousins, stepson. They've been in my life the whole time I've known them. When I was in school, we always had kids in classes that they went off to special ed classes sometimes, but quite often we're integrated into our classrooms as they should be. Um, we've learned a lot in the last, well, I'm 54, so in the last 54 years, we've learned a lot about how we interact with neurodivergent people, with people with autism, with people who are on the spectrum. And it's incredible what we have missed. I said to Rob the other night we were watching, he hadn't seen any of them, and I have the ability to cast. So cool. I can have something on my iPad and cast it to my TV. So we can watch what's on my iPad, all of us in the room. And so we were having supper, and I put on the Jan Arden interview. Rob likes Jan Arden too, so put that one on, and it was incredible. She's not a comedian, and she is funny, but it was a more unlike Howie Mandel and even Alan Hocko, it was a very It was a lot more serious. And it was incredible listening and watching her interact with these young people. And I said to Rob as we are watching, why couldn't we have figured out that people who are neurodivergent are as equal to, as valid as, and as important as every other person who is quote unquote normal? Because the questions they ask, the things that they bring forward, the way that they bring things forward is absolutely incredible. They asked hard questions of all of them. Jan Arden was asked about her brother who spent time in prison for murder. And then she was asked about her relationship with him. Alan Hocko was asked a question about his relationship, um, if he had any regrets, and he talked about a relationship with his father. And when it became obvious that he was struggling about knowing how to answer that, knowing that this would be public, the young person who was asking the question said, "It's okay, you can stop there." That was beautiful. And the irony is that most people, I'm making a grand assumption, but in the past, the people that I have known and worked with would have made the assumption that someone who is neurodivergent would not have had the ability to be compassionate and empathetic and say, it's okay, you don't have to continue answering to that question. And in my experience, it has been people who were not neurodivergent who would be the ones who wouldn't pick up on that clue, or maybe would pick up on it but wouldn't do anything with it, would push to get the answer. It just it's an incredible reminder that we need every single person in our community. We need every single ability that every single person has in our community to come to the table and share it, because they are all children of God. We are all children of God, and God has seen fit to give some of us gifts over here and not gifts over here, and others gifts over here and not gifts over here. And it's only when we come to the table and we can share all of the gifts and then find out which gifts are missing and then complement those gifts with our own gifts, that's when things get good. So I ask that you have a great day. God bless you, and I'll see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.